and welcome back to another episode of Pinal Prep Spotlight, brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning expert specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installations. Well, we are nearing the end of the regular season. Our small school basketball teams just have 1 week left of regular season games after this week. So this week, pretty big implications, especially for our all-around Pinal County matchups, which we have plenty. But for our focus for our game of the week, that is going to be Santan Foothills and American Leadership Academy Ironwood boys basketball. And just looking real quickly at this week's AIA Power Rankings and how things have started for these teams. ALA Ironwood is currently ranked 7th in the 3A conference, and they are also number 13 in the Copper Division, which is the small school open. And then for Santan Foothills are hanging in steadily at number 24. David, you've seen ALA Ironwood plenty. What can you say about the Warriors?
Yeah, well, just first off with this, it's kind of the new era for this year, especially with the new open for the small schools and big schools. But then also, there was a shakeup in a lot of the regions for 3A. Both ALA Ironwood and Santan Foothills and some others from the previous region are in a new one where they face new opponents, new opportunities, and despite the region, Santan Foothills itself has been kind of the team that always just hangs around. They may not reach that upper echelon of teams in their region, but they still hang around and put some solid games together. But for ALA Ironwood specifically, it was really, this year has been about picking up the pieces and where do they go after a really solid 2 years with some really good seniors that are now gone from this team. So it really just comes down to who are those guys that have filled those roles. We saw Noah Atkins get his first chance to really play last year after transferring from Valley Christian. Had to sit out for the first half of the year, but then as soon as he was back in that starting lineup, he wasted little time getting acclimated to this team and kind of being a go-to scorer and facilitator for this team. One of the best three-point shooters we have in Pinal County. He's a really solid shooter, has a great stroke. And then a guy like Blake Anderson has really blossomed for this team and has found his way into a good starting position to where he can finally, show what he's capable of and show what his abilities are. So it's really come down to finding those next pieces, and they've done that so far. They've had a really good year so far. It just comes down to, can they continue to keep it up, especially as we get to the real grind of the season, which is this latter half of the year where teams are trying to, jockeying for position, trying to find the best spots for them. And it's also new territory for a lot of these teams with the new open. So I think this is going to be a really solid game where Atkins is going to have to rely on his shooting, but also be more facilitator to get the ball to guys like Anderson. I'm expecting a win here for the Warriors, but I also expect Santan Foothills to put up a really good fight because this is a solid team that deserves their credit as well.
So, looking at Santan Foothills, they are currently on a 6-game skid. I'm saying 6-game skid right now, but they do play Ben Franklin before they play ALA Ironwood on Friday. So maybe that could extend because Ben Franklin is the team that kind of started this skid for the SaberCats. And going back, these two teams have already played earlier this season. It was a pretty close game through 3 quarters where Santan Foothills really held that lead. But then in the 4th quarter, things just kind of started to unravel. ALA Ironwood really put that pressure on the SaberCats and forced them to shoot early in the shot clock. And then, like David mentioned, Noah Atkins, he simply took over in the 4th quarter. And that was really the difference maker for what ended up being kind of a lopsided final score in favor of the Warriors. But hey, looking at Santan Foothills, they have 3 guys averaging in double digits. Julius Carlisle and Jalen Fulton are averaging 15 points per game. And Chris Gray is adding 14 points per game. Chris Gray is kind of the do-it-all for the SaberCats. He can get it done inside, outside. He uses his length to the best of his abilities to just contend shots and make it difficult for other opponents. He was a big reason for locking down ALA Ironwood early on through those 3 quarters. So hey, if Santan Foothills can figure out a way to play a complete game and stick to their game plan of not trying to rush things, maybe they can pull out an upset, which they could have done last time around. But like David mentioned, ALA Ironwood just has a lot of different key pieces that can contribute at any given time. As always, be sure to check out Pinal Central for all of your local sports coverage and tune in next week as we bring you guys more winter sports coverage.